To this product domain session 3 as part of the buildingSMART International Standards Summit 2024 in Valencia. Thank you for joining. My name is Andre and I will be your moderator today. Today's session is titled Using Data Dictionaries to Access Trusted and Distributed Data Domains. The speakers for the session are Radboud Baayen, Manager of Standards and International Relations at Kettenstandard Construction and Engineering, Rien van der Scheur, engineer and developer at Volker Wessels, Stijn van Schaijk, process manager at DigiBase, and Frédéric, head of Define and Link division at CodeBuilder. This session is scheduled to last 90 minutes, including time for questions at the end. The session is being recorded and will be made available in the replay section of the event as soon as possible. Before I hand over to the speakers, I would like to remind you that this is a hybrid event. For online attendees, your microphones will remain muted for the duration of the session. If you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please use the chat box in the control panel. For the attendees here in the room, please keep background noise to a minimum, and if you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please raise your hand and use a microphone. I would also like to bring to your attention that buildingSMART is committed to ensuring that participation in the development of standards is unrestricted and the process for their adoption is transparent, and standards that are developed do not favor any particular provider and are open, non-binding, and accessible to all. Please take note of Antitrust Code of Conduct. Now I would like to hand over to Radboud.
Welcome everybody, good to see full room, always nice. Going to do three things. Maybe a couple of you have been in product domain sessions 1 or 2. We did teasers there. Maybe that drew you out here. Maybe it's a demonstration by DigiBase or a demonstration by CodeBuilder. I'm the pre-program in that sense, but not less important. So what I always try to do, because not everybody is going to product domain sessions, you're stepping into season 3 of a Netflix series. I'll recap you on season 1 and 2. So previously, as product domain, we have been working on developing a roadmap, just like other domains have been doing, and try to draw out how do we fit within the buildingSMART arena. So we said to each other, okay, let's look at it as domains that are going into the deep, so the vertical domains, and we have a couple of domains that are over or under or through the other domains. So basically, and this is an old one because it still says rooms, and of course it's domains now. So product, technical, and regulatory room, and maybe sustainability room now too, domain, are cross sections. So we started working on that as a steering committee, and of course we had this fantastic thing called COVID, which didn't help to speed up. But in Montreal we got together, got industry insights back, and this led for us together with a room leaders meeting on several topics what to work on. And topic I'm going to talk about today is governance of data domains. So we changed it from governance of data to governance of data domains because it's not about buildingSMART governing the data of other people. It's making sure that we can find what's out there. So in our roadmap of the product domain, we have decided to do a couple of things, determined what was needed. So governance is one of them. We have a project proposal out there, which is about IFC for products. So if anybody wants to work on a project IFC for products, you're more than welcome. Peter is working on an industry report on for manufacturers, how to get information into BIM and structure it. We are working on what the standards are. Espen Schulz is the one who's really going into the deep there. And we have a activity proposal for information lifecycle management. So a lot of things going on. I think it's good that you have a short overview like this. We have a head start on the rest. So these are the things that just in a list again. So white paper was industry report. A couple of things changed overnight. So the governance of data domains, we have an activity proposal that's in the making, and I will show you why it's not ready yet. But why are we doing this? The thing is, there's more data out there than we can fit in the BSDD. And it's difficult to see who to trust and what to trust if you don't know what you're looking at. So we started out by saying, or at least I started out with this, how can I know what I find in the data dictionary and can trust it? So I tried to break that down and to see, okay, so we got the BSDD and we put stuff in there. The stuff that buildingSMART has control over is IFC. But we put some other stuff in there like ETIM. ETIM is governed by ETIM International, it's a separate organization. SFB is a classification system that's managed by us. We have specification systems that could be in there, so work sections. And the blue stuff is what buildingSMART has control over. So there's connections between those. It's the main thing that buildingSMART Data Dictionary does. And of course, they can set rules on how to push your data into it. So the structure of your data going into the data dictionary, that's where they have a say. But then we have sources outside, which is content and references. And these sources can be managed outside, could be pushed in directly, could be in a publication platform, for instance, linked data platform, and go from there. We will show you how that worked for in our demonstration. That's the way we did it. There's a direct direction, of course, also. But there's something underneath, which is the governance structure of the standards itself. So, for instance, the SFB system, we govern that. We have rules, guidelines, mostly based on standards, and there's an organization behind it. And this is where the trust comes from, that you know it's governed and it's sustainable. So if I put numbers there and summarize that, I would say, okay, so what do we use the BSDD for? And Arthur might correct me, store and connect. So it's a mapping mechanism, it's a service, but you can also store your information in there. It's also a database. So it's open, available, and retrievable data that you can get out there. And the main thing should be it's open. So anything that's proprietary is not going into the BSDD. Then we have publication rules. That's, of course, the data structure to be able to put it in based on standards again. And then we have source data, which is content, reference data to other publications, and possible alternative publication platforms. I think Frédéric will show you in a demo on how that works later on. And then we have guidelines on managing the data itself. So what are the rules and how's the organization structured? And this is where we want to create transparency. So if I'm going to look at the data through the data dictionary, give me more than just to tick off this is validated. I want to know what the settings are by which they are validated. What's the quality of it, etc. Okay, so what does that mean? One thing is we have multiple contents. So that's what I said. You can have various sources. You want to combine that. There's domain experts creating content. For instance, the ETIM system. ETIM is an article classification mainly for electrotechnical and HVAC. There's working groups of experts creating classes, setting the properties for those classes, and then publishing that through a mechanism. That mechanism they use is actually this one. I used it from them. So there's stages that you have to go through with market consultations to make sure that everybody is okay. It's just like the way ISO works. So standardization bodies work in the same manner, only slightly different. So this is a request for change process. As it will go, member organizations will start it. Those are country-based. And from country-based, it will go to ETIM International, and they have the final say to say, okay, this is going to be into the classification system. And then you have the organizational part of it. This is a model we use in the Netherlands. It's called BOMOS. So it's a management model for open standards, but it has to do with strategy. So there's a governance, there's a vision, there's a finances, but also support for implementation. Well, I don't know what it's called now. Maybe you do implementer support group we had in buildingSMART, for instance. It's also about tactics. How do you go with rights management, adoption, etc. Operational is, of course, the individual organizations doing the work and the working groups, and we need communication. In this this model, it should be possible to join in. Anybody could join in, or at least it should be open available. So minutes, reports, results should be published openly. And we're not 100% there. And I don't think anybody is 100% there, but this is our guideline. So then the question is, of course, how are we going to do that? Like I said, we have this governance of data domains activity proposal. And then early this year, there were two others that were already in development in France. So from buildingSMART France, there's two proposals on quality and confidence in data dictionaries and a validation service. So that's one part is, let's say, metadata structure, what to look for, and the other one is about creating a tool to actually verify it. And this is good for new data dictionaries. That's what they set it up for at first, but it's like the built environment. There's more existing buildings around than there are new buildings. So it's not about digitizing only the new world. We also want to digitize the old world. It's actually what Aspen was saying about trying to digitize our standards. It's the same here for digitizing existing data dictionaries and classifications. So that was the first part. That's about the activity proposal, governance of data. I might add or get a little Q&A in there if there's any questions. Otherwise, I'll just jump through to the next bit.
Are you looking for people to join that project, or is it?
As soon as we have the activity proposal in, yes, please. Absolutely. Okay, the second part, and this is the real pre-program for the demonstration, is talking about connecting data sources. I call it data sources on purpose and not data dictionaries. And I tried to make an animation, but this has to go through marketing and communication before it's polished. So again, it's a square or a rectangle. So we have IFC again, buildingSMART Data Dictionary is the storing device, buildingSMART management and governance is the way to manage it. And then we have, for instance, the SFB classification. And the SFB classification has been partly uploaded to the buildingSMART Data Dictionary. And basically, it's a publication that's in linked data. Its content is open, so anybody can use it. That's why it can be uploaded to the buildingSMART Data Dictionary, and it has references which are detailed to other sources. So the detailed references to IFC, they can be uploaded to the BSDD, but I'll show you another one in a minute. Another publication we have is ETIM. ETIM has a fixed variant every 2 years. So there's a publication release every 2 years, and they've added that to the data dictionary. That's ETIM 9. But there's also an ETIM dynamic. So in between the releases every 2 years, there is continuously, sorry, not my native language, continuously development on ETIM. So there is a mismatch between those two, and it doesn't have to be bad. It's just that you know. Then we have another one, which is called a specification system. In this case, I even put Stabio in front because it's our specification system, of course. But that's also being published as linked data, at least partly. The content is open for the first 2 levels, but the other levels are proprietary. You have to have a license to use it. So that's a subscription or specifiers. They have the subscription, they pay yearly, annually to be able to use that. And I have detailed references, and one of those references goes to ETIM. So we're connecting those two, and we do that on ETIM Dynamic. So there is a thing that I don't have these connections inside the BSDD. Another connection I have, first I do this one. So I publish level 1 and 2 in the BSDD, that's good. Then I have detailed references to the SFB system. Because we manage both systems, we can work on that and create those detailed references. But then, of course, when I upload it, I only have level 1 and 2 here, so I must aggregate my results. And that actually tends to go from, I know apples and pears, and here I only know fruit. That's a mismatch you might encounter there. And there's another one, we have a national environmental database that's completely out of scope, that's not even in touch with the people from BSDD. It has references to the SFB system, but it exists outside. So the question is, how are we going to get information from those systems? Because in my projects, I want to be able to use this content. So the near future, I said here, is going to link data. I'm just going to do a short introduction, or if I made mistakes, then someone will correct me. But I just heard that the near future is already here in some form, and Frédéric will show that. And there's another future that's already here, and that's a demonstration by DigiBase. So if you look at, you have solutions or you have working methods, you need to work with data, and the ideal place would be to go to let's say, a square where there's multiple stalls and you can get your data from there. So decentralized, everybody has their own data, but it's structured according to standards. So it's scalable, it's web-based, and it basically does connect through triples. So you have the object, relation, object. And therefore you can, if that's structured in a standardized way, you can actually connect various sources. So this is always the nice thing about John is located in New York. And of course, then you are going to look at his car that's registered. So John is connected to the car and John is in New York. Well, you might guess that the car is in New York too, but it doesn't have to be, of course. But this is the way you connect data sources. They have a URL, which is a unique identifier for it. And this way you can draw graphs, which is basically, I understand, technology that's also used by Facebook to say that, oh, this unique person, I connected to a phone number, so the phone number is unique. And then, of course, if you have landlines, it's not going to work. So there's always challenges to make that happen. But linked data, it's getting sources from various areas and combining that. So for instance, if I have SFB system and I have a reference to IFC in my data source, and I also take the source from IFC, I can see, okay, I have an IFC wall connected to an outer wall, and I have IFC, I find the IFC wall, I know those two are connected. That's what linked data will do for you. So we actually published our SFB system in the LACES app from Semtech, which is one of the platforms being able to support linked data. You have your description, your functions, so all items that are going with it, they are in there. And the next step would be that you can create relationships. So there's relationships within the structure itself, of course, it's a classification. So you go steps down and you can say what kind of relationship that is, and you can have relationships outside. So the relationship, the reference to IFC is in our data source, therefore I can do the next step. And you can then go and say, okay, what kind of relationships are we talking about? Is this the same as, is this a likely match, etc.? And this, of course, again, should be done by standards.
Does that have to be the same platform, or is after it's published and it's like open?
And then it's open. And that's the whole idea is we don't have control over data sources. So there's 100,000 data sources out there. All you need is to agree on what the structure should be so I know what I'm looking at. And then the next level is to know if it's reliable. So the governance of data is about, is it reliable? And this is about, can I actually interpret what's there? So this is basically what what the system does. So I just have a short introduction to the demo, which is going to be done afterwards. So what we try to do is we have these data sources that we are managing. So this is a combined effort. So we have the Stadu system, which is connected to the SFB system, which is connected to a cost calculation standard. And of course, then that's also connected to ETEM and to Stadu. We publish that in LACES, and there's what we call IDS configurator that's using the data from LACES, but we can also go push it into the BSDD and then retrieve information from there. So this is the way that we are going to show it now. That's why I said near future, because this is the current state that we're talking about. So what we now do is the plugin will go to the BSDD API and retrieve information from there. But you could say, okay, I can also go to the API directly from link data to go into LACES. So that will be the next step. And that's how. Problem solved. That's what we say at buildingSMART, right? Questions, because I will leave it to the demo to entertain you with live demonstration of what we're talking about here. Okay. The floor is yours.
One question.
Let's finally.
All the things that you are creating, is that manual? Somebody has to do that?
Yeah, that's the thing about Anouk was saying that in her session. That's about knowledge. You have to, of course, you can use AI for a lot of stuff, but this is about, that's the first step you might take, and then you have to review. You have to know which is which, what is what, and make sure. And that's also part of the added value in the reliability. I mean, we have a Stadu system. You might say, yeah, why are you doing this difficult work? Because I can write it down myself. We translate standards into specifications. Because we do that, we have this governance structure. People say, okay, I'm willing to pay a subscription on the system so I don't have to do that myself. And that's manual work. Yeah.
And once you have connected with your local standard to IFC, for example, you find connections to the German or the French.
Most likely.
If you link to the most important or stuff like that, then you can.
Yeah, and that depends on what, and that's a market question, an industry question. At what level do you want to connect? Because I can say, okay, I have outer walls and I have IFC wall, or I can say I have an outer wall and I have an IFC wall with external screw, and then it has an added value. So there's steps to be taken in that. Anouk.
Thanks for your presentation. You showed that you published the SFB standard in linked data. Do you also propose to publish Stadu and ETEM as well in linked data first before you go to the BSDD, or do you always need to make that extra step?
Well, what I would like to go to, no, I don't have a microphone. The ideal situation, I would say, is we publish it in linked data and use that as the main source. And combine IFC from the BSDD with, and there's a lot of sources that don't have, maybe not have their own publication platform. Linked data can use the BSDD storing mechanism to go to linked data. We have an outside source, so you have a direct control, which is part of the governance structure. And yes, we are planning to put Stadu and SFB into linked data. The question is, how deep will you go? Because it gets more complex the deeper you go into, for instance, the Stadu system. But also ETEM, we are looking at to start with that in the Netherlands, which will then be the first member country. And then we see, well, I hope in half a year we can have another demo which actually combines those sources. All right. Time for the show. Here you go.
Okay, thanks, Radboud. We switched screens, so that should be fine. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stijn from Schaijk. I'm here today with my colleague, Rien from Scheur. We will do a live demo in a few minutes about our BSD plugin. I will tell a little bit, which is the same which we had during a session of data consistency, which has done by Arthur as well. Anyone who was there? So you heard some things I will say again, but there will also be new stuff, and the demo will be more elaborated. So it's not exactly the same stuff. So Rien and I, we both work for Volkerettes. We are a large contractor from the Netherlands. More specifically, we are part of a group which we call Digibase, and we help all our colleagues with implementing BIM in their daily work. My presentation will be split into two parts. I will first elaborate on our collaboration together with Heijmans, which is also a large contractor in the Netherlands. We've worked together with Radboud and his team to align international, national and local standards, publish them in the BSD and reuse them via our plugins in Revit. So I'll elaborate on that, and then we will do the demo. So this slide of the demo in, I hope, around 10 minutes, so I hope not to talk too long. So first of all, I want to give all the credit to the team where we worked with. What's interesting is that with this team of contractors, we actually had the same problem last years. Radboud was talking about SFB, the SFB classification in his presentation, and one of the problems we encounter in the Dutch BIM world or in the Dutch BIM models is that this SFB system, it comes in 24 different ways. So there's just one standard of SFB. It's maintained by Kate Standard. But because we do not publish it in a structured way, or we publish it's published in like Excel spreadsheets and then distributes around all kind of parameter files and TXT files. And as a result, as a contractor, we get models from structural engineers, from architects, from MEP engineers, and as a result, this classification comes in 24 different ways. And as a result of that, we cannot automate a lot of things. We need to manually classify our models into a good structure so that we can then automate things. And this is not only for us, it's like for the whole Dutch industry, and this is only one parameter, one classification. But if you really want to achieve things with BIM models, and I'm not sure why the screen is black. Let me show you. If you really want to do something with BIM models, you need more information which is consistent in a BIM model, right? And the positive trend is that at least in the Netherlands, we know better every day what kind of information we need on models to automate things. So we've written down all kind of IDSs. We have IDS which describes if you want to automate things with structural prefab floor elements. If you standardize like 20 parameters, then we can automate things, right? That's great that we know that, but we already struggle with just standardize one SFB classification. So it's very difficult we have a high ambition, we know what we want, but in practice, all those IDSs are not used at the moment because it's very difficult to get consistent data in our models. What we try to do is when the project starts, we collect all those ambitions and all those IDSs and summarize them in like a spreadsheet, right? We have some tools which are developed currently in the Netherlands, but also outside where we replace the spreadsheet by like structured databases or structured programs where you can then export an IDS, for example. But the current practice is still a lot of spreadsheets. We put those spreadsheets as a basis for our projects. We give them to all the parties we work with, so our engineers, our structural engineers. Everyone's working his own tool, copy-pasting things from those spreadsheets in their own tool they desire, making IFC models, and then publishing them to like a CD or another platform where a lot of our colleagues are using those data, trying to use it. So let me show you that. But the main problem is actually this. So we have the modeler, which has a lot of requirements, and we have all those people shouting around, I want this in my model, I want this in my model. And they're all relying on the single modeler, right? Who's the only one at the moment who can really add consistent information to the model. So it becomes too much for the modeler to do that. It's a lot of manual input, and the details for every software, per software modeling tool are just different, right? So if you try to make an IFC export from Revit, is different in the details than from Archicad, SketchUp, etc. So we try to tackle this and searching for a solution where one, we can assist the BIM modeler in automate and better help him putting faster information in the models. But secondly, give all those other people, give them also a shovel so they can dig with us and help to create better BIM models. So we find that solution actually by use of the buildingSMART Data Dictionary. So if we publish the standards in the way, like Radboud told, in a good structured way in the building, in the BSD, then we can connect that to our modeling software, but we can also connect that to other software applications which are not modeling software. So you can connect it to a CDE or an ERP system, or actually the systems where most of the people work in. Because I told you this morning as well, if I look at one of our projects, and we have for around 100 people working on there, there's only one modeler in a year modeling in a modeling software. All those other 99 people are not working in a modeling software. They're working in ERP systems, they're working in planning system, cost estimation systems, CDEs, but usually not in the modeling software. So how can we include them? And that's by doing, connecting the BSD to such kind of tools. And what we did together with Radboud, with Heijmans, with another few people from the Netherlands, we did two things. We start by filling in the BSD with usable content, and we developed an open source BSD toolkit, which is publicly available since today on GitHub, and I will show you where to download it after the demo. So we did both things. And the first thing was aligning or filling the BSD with good content. So we aligned international, national, and our local information standards and published them on the BSD. So we aligned ETIM, IFC, STABI, NSB, and our local standard. What I want to emphasize is that we actually do not do anything new. So everything we have connected is just, it's already there, but we try to give it to our modelers more effective. This morning we released a beta release of our plugin, and Rien will now show how that works.
Yes, I will try this as slowly as possible, and you will slow down if necessary. I'll first take you through the basic workflow of an engineer that is trying to put data in his model. And then I'll go a bit more in settings. So this is my model. I'll go to my 3D view and select my home. We made our BSDD tab and BSDD selection button. So if I open this, it's a dockable window, and I see two options here. That is settings and link. This is also possible in other languages. And here I have my dictionary set, and they're all preset. I'll go into that later. Then we have three options to select elements from the model, which is all element types, which is all element types of the current view or a selection. And I'll dive into a selection of a concrete prefab slab and an interior door and finishes. So now I get these two items back, and they're organized on description at the moment. You see the floor has no relation at all, and the door has an IFC and an NFSB. Why this is, I'll get to you later. I can then select the floor to see what object it is, or I can attach it to a type, and it searches the BSDD in my main dictionary. So this was the floor. And what I'm getting here is all the data we published on the BSD, or is connected on the BSDD. So first you have your classifications, which is our building product, the SFB, which Radboud talked about. And I'll say it's a constructive floor. Then there's the IFC type. So this can be a roof or a floor. So I'll say it's a floor. And then there is the P sets, which is currently only the P set from the from buildingSMART, and is external is not filled. Load bearing is filled. So I'll say it's not external since it's.
Maybe what's interesting maybe to mention is that the restrictions you have here in your choices as a modeler are defined by the specialists who did connect the data earlier. So Radboud and his team can have control over which IFC classes can be related to which SFB classes, etc. So you can restrict if you choose one specific object, and choice you can interrelate those relations with each other. And as a result, a modeler cannot make a really bad choice in this data.
We are also in discussion with Arthur as well, because I'm selecting here that it's a constructive floor, but I can say it's non-constructive as well. So the load bearing value should be a logical value of that. And it's actually, if you look at the SFB code, it has load bearing and it says it's yes or no. It doesn't say you can choose. It's just a value that is set for you. So we could improve this. I'll go back to the demo and save this to the object. And now it says it's validated for all those three. So I can select and show you, if you find it interesting, where we store this. So we make a couple of BSDD parameters that are class parameters or properties. And I'll go back and connect the interior door to its BSDD. Check the property sets and save this. So now I have my two objects with the correct data, and I'm happy with the model. So I'll export it to IFC and select my IFC model. There, it's done. I'll go to Solibri and show you the result. So mainly in Revit, you could only get one classification reference. So classify objects in assembly codes. There's other ways to do so with the classification code parameter. But now we see we have our building products and we have the SFB. And we find our door in the interior door category, but we also find our door in the openings from inside walls or interior walls. And when we click on the door, we also find the classifications in the door, and we find the properties that we set in the IFC standard properties, which Revit does. And that is basically the workflow you need as a modeler. If we go back to the model, and I'll show you here the way you can set up your Revit project so it can work for you specifically for the project you need. So we go back to the dictionary selection, and there's a main dictionary, which is the dictionary the objects get searched in, and then there's filter dictionaries, which are taken from the object. So if I add extra dictionaries here, for example, ETIM and Stabu, which Radboud also talked about, and save this, I see my objects are not valid anymore, so I miss ATIM here. And when I try and link this again, I'll get ATIM in the model. There is something we thought about if you have your own workflow and you want to integrate this, for example, we use the assembly code for NLFSB, and someone else might use it for another classification. I can type a reference parameter like ETIM, and it finds that parameter, and if it has the correct value for my door, it also finds it valid. So now the ETIM is green, and that is because my door has a parameter ETIM with the code from the door. If I attach this to its type, you see I have more classifications now, and I save this, and the door is green. I want to show you as well that we have some extensive export settings from IFC. So basically we set our own export setup, and you can tweak this however you like. I'll try adding an extra property set here, which a lot of people use. And I'll say OK. I can't export here because the classifications and our own properties won't show up in the IFC, so I have to use my export button, but it uses the settings that I just set. I'll save that again. And I'll reload my model here. So now I have my ETIM, which has the same door, and I have my Stabu, which also has the same door. And when I click on the door, I also have the other properties. In this case, we have a basic IDS, which gives the level it's on, and the placing point and the name of the element. So that is how it also can be used in your current process.
Just to add, so SFB is a functional building element classification. But Stabu is a work sections classification, so that has a different purpose. And ETIM is an article classification which you use for ordering products. So there's 3 classifications connected for 3 different purposes now, and they're all interconnected.
Yeah, our cost estimators, they need a Stabu classification, but for other purposes we use the LSB.
Yes, it also checks if you have set up the Stabu code 100 as a connection to 3 different kinds of SMB codes. Does it check that?
That's the way we're going to upload it.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, but also when you select this in the model, you also need that check. For example, if you select an LFSB code, then it should maybe make the options from a Stabu code less or more. So yeah, that is what we need to look into.
We also work without all the local classifications, but only with the core IFC standard, so that you don't classify to the local codes, but only searching for the IFC properties from the BSDB. For example, for a door, you have fire rating, acoustic, soft closing. If you edit in this way with this.
You just set the IFC as the main dictionary and then search the IFC.
Okay, yeah, that's the.
Yes. Yes.
I'll show you the BSD entry as well. There it is. So here you see the class properties, which have is our external and load bearing and all its class relations, and their URIs. Yeah.
If I am a client and I want to use the NSFB as a breakdown structure, but I have extra requirements, right? Can I link that in the BSD that with your plugin, if my modeler selects this NSFB code, that my extra requirements also come there, and he has to fill it in? Is that
You'd have to make your own dictionary in your own entry in the BSD.
and link it to your NSFB?
Yeah, that's basically what we did with this this product as well. So if you scroll top, so we have now our own domain where we define this interior door, binnendeur. You can, as a client, define your own domain with your own dictionary. define your own standard or your own dictionary and connect that to, yeah, in the same way we did with class relations, and then build restrictions in the way you want to have that. Yeah. And then the plugin will respond to that. Yeah.
Can we use the local building codes, like if the government says if this is a meeting room, you have certain properties that fits to the meeting room? That doesn't work with spaces.
Yeah, definitely you can define a space object as well. Say this is a meeting room and
If all the governments add their requirements to the BSD, then you can.
Yeah, but that's it. The content should be available. That's currently that's limited, but that's what we're trying to show here is that we're taking the first steps to do that connection. So we are governing the connections. They are making use of that. And the best thing about it might even be that you get independent of these 24 SFB entries you get in. But you don't have to take away everything, because if we do our jobs well as management, we have release policies which will take care of the differences between the various releases, and you find it back here because it's all integrated.
That leads to new ideas for
Yeah.
It's cool, pretty cool. So we're all set in the Netherlands with all these classifications.
And now the work starts.
we now know how it works. We got every piece of the technology, so we can have the full cycle to test it. But now we need the content to be more filled, to be more standardized. So we need a standardized list of meeting or of rooms. We need a standardized list of building stories. We need a standardized list of, and then connect those everyone. Yeah.
Will you connect to the previous MEP now?
Yeah.
That's already extensive.
It's also a good idea.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
I'll go back to the presentation. I think we have a few minutes.
yeah, to finish the presentation, the open BSD toolkit is available. I will show the link in a minute. There are a few components which you can reuse for your own integrations or your own purposes with your software vendor. You can get inspired by this. We just checked the Revit integration box, and for ourselves, we really want to work on the Trimble Connect and the SketchUp integration, because those are tools which are a lot used in our company as well. So we're working on that.
Why do you develop it yourself? Why can't you ask to Trimble or SketchUp or Revit?
Yeah, we asked and we tried to ask, but we also wanted to discover ourselves how it works and how it should work and how we want to work with it. Because we made some mock-ups and we showed that to them, and while making those mock-ups, we thought, okay, let's continue. But now it's because we're a contractor, we're not a software developer. So now we hope that all our efforts, which are now uploaded to GitHub, can be reused by software vendors and take it over from us. And then now we know at least also how we want to work.
How long did you spend to create this kind of, like a half a year or a few months?
Yeah. Last few months we worked intensively at it, but last 2 years we thought about this structure. Yeah.
Yes. And the idea is, maybe go back to this slide. No, it's gone. Oh yeah. So the interface is reusable for every other program or integration. So it's very recognizable for everybody in the end.
This is all heavily supported by the BSD, which we suppose keeps being open and free, I guess. Because I don't know if the business model is with BSD, but then you have to suppose that they keep on being open for.
I see Arthur in the back.
Want to respond to that, Arthur? Or?
He asked this is all reliable. This is all reliant on the BSD, and will this be open and free for everybody? Forever.
Yeah, BSD is open and it's freely accessible. So yes, this relies on open BSD, but also this is an open source project, so others can develop it further and help you build it, improve it further, right? So yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, last few remarks. So what we try to do is to make it very simple for the end user, although it's technically very complicated to connect every dot, to connect everything. So with help of the link data and with help to upload it up to base data. So that's difficult, but for the end user, it's simple to use. We do it open source because we think that the technology still can be improved, but it's already super usable for us. It improves. It's really a step forward already. So we do not have to wait until everything is technology-wise perfect. We can already start doing that. For us, it's really important that it's a generic workflow, not only in Revit, but a recognizable workflow for everyone in more tools which are in our process. And we hope that we lowered the threshold and we aspire the industry to start with this more often. So our goal was not to develop software, but just to inspire this is how we can work, and we hope that people will do that with us. Final thing, the slide of the plugin is downloadable here. So you go to this URL and make a picture, but we will also spread it via LinkedIn and other posts. Maybe Rien, can you click on the link and show where people can download the Revit plugin?
Yeah, so if you Google for buildingSMART BSD Revit plugin, you probably find it and find this page. And on the right here, you have releases, which are all beta releases. And at the bottom of every release, you find the assets, and there's the installer for Revit 23 and 24.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
I think there was another slide.
Oh, yeah.
Last slide, we have a lot of ideas for future development. One of them is IDS integration, but I think for now we have talked enough. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, guys. I think that was inspiring. Now we're not going to have a break. We're going directly to Frédéric. And I think the IDS thing was a nice bridge. So he will get set up, and we have a second demonstration from a slightly different angle, but also about connecting those sources.
Good evening, everybody. I'm sorry, I'm not Dutch. I'm the strange thing in this Dutch presentation. But as you can see, my company is Norwegian, and I'm also not Norwegian, so I'm the alien in this room. The subject was governance of data, so we will try to have a look on how to manage data into a data dictionary to make it trustable as much as possible. And in the second step, we will try to see what we can do with this data coming from several data dictionaries. And for me, that's important to talk about dictionaries and not dictionary as a single thing. Very quickly, Cobble is an origin company that has been created in 1997, so not so long. And we've been working on this data dictionary topic since, I would say, more than 10 years. So we have some ideas that we have shared already with some people like Radboud. Don't want to spend time on this, and better if I can click on things. Talking about data dictionary, we said that governance of data, quality, that's all about Radboud speak today. There is a tool called Define, where you can create, check, approve, update content, and let's go to it. That's not this. All right. So this is Define. I don't want to spend too much time inside it, but in this kind of tool, what is very important, at least for me, is that for every concept, here we are talking about data template, but it could be the same for a property, for a unit, for a reference document, whatever you need to use into a data dictionary. For each of those, you will have the version number, like this is a Boiler version 6. It has a status. Has it been approved? Is it in a draft? Has it been rejected? So you know exactly what you're talking about, who has created it, when, and if it's publicly available or still kept secretly in the data dictionary because you don't want to share it. So if I click on this Boiler, here we go. It will open a page with all the information about it. So here it comes. It will have name, everything you've seen in BSDD, well, same, following the same standards. So name, technical definition, it will have a domain, so you will know who has been working on it. It will have some countries of use, grids, blah, 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 no matter what. Important thing, you will know exactly everything about it. What are the previous versions and what has happened to it when we have done something on it, and even more, you can here compare with the template. I will check the list of all the versions of my boiler, and I will ask the tool what is the difference between the boiler version 6 and the boiler version 2. And here, if I go to groups of properties, I will see that, well, our UK friends have been working on the Kobe side, and maybe if I go further, I will see that some content according, we'll have to talk about EPDs and 2057 in those days. That's how it is, we have to. So here, in version 6, luckily, some experts have added content, so we can do LCA calculations according to this model, because someone has added those properties according to 2057. And as you can see, for each of those, we know exactly also the version number. So you know exactly what has happened, also at property level. At any level into a data dictionary, you will know what you're talking about, what has happened to it, and who has been working on it. So very shortly, I don't want to spend a lot of time in this tool. That's just to show you, yes, there is a tool that allows you to manage the content. And when you have managed this content, well, you want to make it available. That's the plan. And here two ways from define. I don't know if Answeli is in the room, but yes. So the decision from the European Root Federation was to use define to manage content, and at one point to publish it. So they have a website which is called Zebra website, where they have a page which is called digital templates, nothing incredible. And here you have the list of objects, data templates that they have been working on. And here, for example, for this fiberboard, I will check about it. I will see this technical definition. Please take 2 seconds to learn this definition, because we will check later on if we can find it back somewhere else. 10 seconds done. Then everything you're doing into a data dictionary, in my opinion, should be as much as possible a reference to standards. In this case, this fiberboard has been defined, described with properties coming from EN 13986. Again, 5 seconds for you to remember this reference document number, because there is another possibility from define. That's to publish content into the buildingSMART data dictionary. So we've seen that you can manage your content, you have experts validating, checking the standards, everything is fine. All right, my dictionary is ready to be used. What can I do? Well, I can push it to my website, like the European Root Federation, or I can decide to push it into the buildingSMART data dictionary. So here I have two examples, and Answeli is again against behind them. One is LCA indicators and modules. So experts have been working on EPD content coming from 22 or 57 into define, and at one point decided to publish this in BSDD. And some other people, again, European Root Federation, have been working on this Root data dictionary, and again decided to publish this in BSDD. And what we do in this case is, let's go to this. I have opened in BSDD this fiberboard. How many of you remember this definition? Luckily, that's the same. How many of you remember this document reference number, the standard one? Well, you have to trust me, luckily, against the same. Something we didn't discuss is this sync, UID, unique identifier. So I didn't ask you to remember it, but again, luckily, that's the same. So different places with the same content coming from the same tool was manage governance of data. You know what you have done, and you can provide it in your website or in the buildingSMART data dictionary. And I was also talking about this LCA data dictionary, because in this case, well, define is not pushing blindly all the properties attached to a fiberboard. It checks into BSD, oh, those properties already exist in this LCA data dictionary. Let's use them, meaning that this fiberboard from this industry dictionary for products in wood use properties like this one. And if I click on it, something will happen. Per class fiberboard, let's open the property directly. And here you will see that this is not the same data dictionary. Here we have reused the property coming from this LCA data dictionary. No duplicate, reuse what is already existing. And again, if you check this property into define data dictionary, same definition, of course, same data type, same physical quantity, same reference document, same UID. And for example, I know this is really important, and Knut knows it very well. With EPD, you need to have dependencies between properties, so that's what has been pushed into the buildingSMART data dictionary. Abiotic depletion potential is meaningless until you provide the information module. If you don't know that, those famous A1, A3, A4, etc. So here we have pushed into BSD that you have this property attached to a fiberboard into a separate data dictionary, and the value of this property is dependent of the value of this information module. All right, so we can create data, we can govern this data, check we can trust it, it's reliable, we can publish it, and next question is then what? Then what is how to use the content of a data dictionary? So that's our next topic. So in this case, we will, I'm almost done with the PowerPoint part, ready to take popcorn for the demo. Just a few seconds more. So I will create requirements according to this data dictionary. There is a standard called level of information needs. You don't have to worry about this. The tool will manage for that. We have been discussing this. All the complexity like IDS, IFC, level of information, you should not care about it. That's up to the tool to care about it. You will just have to use it. Whatever, you have to create, you have to use a project phase. So in this case, that design. You will have to have a use case. In my case, that's LCA. And then I will need to use the content from those data dictionaries. And what is interesting tonight is today, not night yet, I will use APIs to take content from define. So we will see that from define, I can use an object, which is the boiler, and I will take our thing in Cobbler is to use properties coming from standards. So in my case, I will use global warming potential according to EN 15804 at stage A1, A3. Remember these famous dependencies with modules. And there will be another object where I will use burglar resistance. So no secret, this second object will come from BSDD, and it will be a window. I mean, burglar resistance doesn't make a lot of sense for a burglar, in my opinion. So what we will do is create requirements using two different data dictionaries coming from two different places, API call. I will have an object coming from define, an object coming from BSDD, properties coming from define, properties coming from BSDD, and the goal at the end, well, just a QR code because a lot of people are fan of it. If you want to try link, I can let you more than 10 seconds to take a picture of this, and then you will have access to copy the link and the trial version. All right, all good. So the idea is at the end to be happy guys using IGS according to our data dictionaries. All right, and thanks Stijn for the picture that was right on time for my presentation. So let's see what to do with those data dictionaries. We have seen how to manage them. We have seen how to publish them, where they are, and we will create a new project. I will call it product domain. Oh, if I manage with my French keyboard, product domain 3, this because I already have one, I can have a project ID, my favorite one is 1, 2, 3, and let's say that that's an office building. First thing I have to do is to tell copy the link. Do I want to use BSDD data dictionary? Come on, we are building smart, let's do that. So clicking to add BSD data dictionary, and here we are calling BSD API and check everything what is available as for now in production. And in this case, I will propose, because that's what I prepared, to use IFC data dictionary, covered under buildingSMART. And let's have a look at these LCA indicators and modules. But we could have also taken, where is this wood data dictionary? Maybe check also it. So that's why I want to use from BSD, and in define, I will have to say that I want to use some kind of classification system. IFC 4.3 mandatory. Come on, we are buildingSMART. So no way you need to use this classification system, but you can use, let's say, uniclass, product tables, and if I can check it, all right, and maybe a bit more of IFC, like, IFC entities, all right, again, if I manage to click, and I will save it. Oh, I've done my homework. I want to work for my project or my template of project with 3 BSD data dictionaries and define plus classification, uniclass, and IFC. Why am I doing this? Is that because I will not request only to have properties or attributes or parameters, depending on your site, but I will also request that my objects are classified in the B model according to those classification systems. Meaning that if we are lucky, at the end, we will have an IDS requesting one of those objects to be classified with a uniclass code. That's the idea behind it. But we'll see. First step when I want to do that is to create my kind of shopping list. So in my project, and usually you have a template for that. You don't redo it for each project. It doesn't make sense. But here, for the sake of the demo, I will do it from scratch. And so first thing, I'm clicking or adding a define object, and I will look for a boiler. Again, I'm not an IFC guy, so I will just add boiler, a list of its, check what we are talking about. Data dictionary is defined. Cool, I've clicked define. Technical definition, and I can check that, well, this will be exported in IDS because that's classified as IFC. And if I use it, I will request it to be classified according to uniclass product tables like PR60, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's say that I want to use this border. I will select it and I will add it. So, started to do my homework. Project list for my project border is fine. Let's see what I can add from BSD. So, first thing, if I'm looking for fiberboards, this is the one coming from the industry dictionary for products. The one we've seen earlier in their website or in BSD. Here it is. I haven't prepared my demo for this, so let's go back to a window. Much better for me. And here we will see that this window is coming from the IFC data dictionary in BSD, checking, all right, BSD, IFC dictionary, its definition, and its we have already been talking about URIs. This is its URI. I can check in BSD. Ooh, sounds like the one I want to use. Great. Let's check it and add it. Checked, added. All right, so I have started to do my shopping list. This project will use only boilers and windows. That's it. I'm French, I'm lazy, more than enough for me. Again, you will see that those objects, you always know where they come from. Really important for me. This boiler is coming from define. This window is coming from BSD/IFC. So you always know what you are talking about, wherever you are in the tool. That's really crucial in my opinion. Then, well, when I create requirements, you know, some people are in suggestion are saying, to create requirements, you need to explain why, when, who, etc., etc. So the when is called the milestone, and I have done my homework, so I have prepared the milestone, which is called product domain. part 3. So that's the milestone I will use tonight. And I need to have a use case, like why are you creating those requirements? In my case, well, very easy. I'm creating those requirements to make a nice demo of my tool. So that will be FGR demo. All right, shopping list ready. For my project or my template of project for buildings, I will use windows according to BSD. I will use boilers according to define, and let's play and create requirements. So I will create a new level of information need. That's to be like really important personality, but that's a requirement. So let's create my requirement, and milestone in my shopping list, easy. I just have one, purpose, I just have one. And my first requirement will be for my boiler. If I don't remember about it, I can click info, and I will know, whatever. And here I will be able, for this boiler, again, to choose in any kind of data source I want. It can be BSD, it can be defined. So first thing in define, I will say, well, do we have something into the data dictionary? I will filter by all properties. That could be global warming. And here is a global warming potential. I can check it, and I will ask define what is this thing about. I will have a technical definition. I will have a unit. I will have a data type. Sounds good. Let's add this one and nothing else, because here I will now add to this object coming from define some BSD properties. Again, for my tool, that's not important at all from which dictionary I'm working from. Both are made the same way. I can trust both contents. So I can just ask now something like pressure rating. And I'm looking into BSD at those things. So pressure rating in the IFC data dictionary sounds like cool. Again, I have the technical definition, no units, but here I can copy paste it and again check into BSD. What is this property about? Can you still hear me? Yeah. So pressure rating, blah, 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 IFC, that's the one I want. So let's check it, and I will also add something like water inlet temperature. Same coming from the SDD IFC 4.3. Here we go. First requirement done. And I will just save my first requirement, and I will have created after milestone product domain 3, so project phase. For the purpose of FGR demo on the boiler, I want to have those 3 properties, one coming from define and those coming from BSD. And here I'm checking it again, because here comes the magic. Remember, define object boiler, right? Ask BSD for properties and choose water inlet temperature. By using the API, I know that in the case of a boiler, this water inlet temperature should be requested in pset boiler type command. So when I will export the IDS file, I will be able to say, hey, this property should be in this property set. And that's by using BSD API from an object coming from another data dictionary. So that's quite nice to be able to mix those things and to reconnect the dots at the end, in my opinion. All right, so we have created the first one, and I will try to be a bit faster. Second one, all right, this time I will use my BSDD object. And on my BSDD object, I can add properties coming from define again, and in my slide, I have something like burglar resistance. And here, from define, I have all the burglar resistances coming from a lot of standards. That's how it is. We have a lot of those. But again, I will check it because I will forget after this. I can again ask the data dictionary, what is this strange burglar resistance according to EN 16361? And I will get the technical definition. That's a text or no unit, that data type string, and this could be resistance class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very clever. All right, so I will add this one, and then back to BSDD, add some BSDD properties. So Answili is in the room. Let's ask BSDD what he has according to global warming potential, and take this global warming potential total. As you can see here, not anymore the IFC data dictionary. This is coming because I checked at the beginning that I want to use it. I have LCA content coming back from BSDD. All right, let's add this one. And then we have some properties which are dedicated to Windows, like file exit, this time IFC data dictionary, and another one that could be as drive. You may think I know by heart the model, but I prepared the demo, so that's the reason why everything is so smooth. Whatever, again, if I'm going back to information, I have taken back this file exit from this data dictionary, and when I validate, I ask BSDD all the information about it, and if I'm going back to this window, back to my as drive here, the magic happened again. Well, easier, that was a BSDD object, but still, I have asked BSDD, and I know that this as drive property should be provided into a preset called preset window command. All right, so we have created and managed content into Define. We have published it in a website for the European Wood Federation. We have published 2 in BSDD. Then we have created a requirement. Then we will click the magical button, which is export to IDS. And believe me or not, but when I will click on export, this will export an IDS file. And here is this IDS file. So I'm sorry that's a bit technical on this side, but I want to show this to you because, okay, yes, we have created an IDS file called product domain 3, where I will find back the use case for my project, when I will find back the project phase that I want to use. I have created the specification for window. Sounds good. And here in this IDS file, you will see that we keep track on what we've been doing. So here, I've got those famous URIs. And when I click on them, luckily, I'm back to the definition of this property into BSD. So I always keep track on what I'm doing. From link, I have exported an IDS containing still the links to check the definitions. So when you receive this IDS, you know exactly what you are talking about from the data dictionary. So that was the case for fire exit, but you remember we also took some properties coming from another data dictionary like define. Same time, the link is in the IDS file. I click on it and I will see that burglar resistance according to EN 16361, that's version 1. This is the full name, this is a technical definition. It has a reference document, so I know again exactly where it comes from. It has a measure, it has a data type, etc., etc., etc. So I will not go deeper into this IDS file, except if some of you are really interested. Maybe my Dutch friends may be interested. I'm not sure about the other ones, but whatever. This is my IDS file, and thanks to Mojo, we have a building called Mojo House that I've tweaked a bit. I have added a boiler on it, and the boiler is here. I have selected it, and if maybe I need to right-click. Yeah. If I check its properties, you will see that it has a property set called co-building requirements, where we have this property coming from the standard global warming according to EN 15804. Then we ask for pressure rating. Luckily, that's inside. We ask for water inlet temperature. Luckily, that's inside. But something I didn't show you and I should have, I forgot. If I check my IDS file and search for Uniclass, you will see that my boiler should be classified according to Uniclass product table PR60, well, the code we have seen in link. That's why at the beginning we have said, for this project, we work with Uniclass. So please, link, provide me the right Uniclass code so I can request them for my project. And so what I did is when I tweaked this building, I have added this classification. So this boiler is classified as Uniclass product table with the right classification code. Better if I want to show checking which is working. And in this building, I have tweaked 2 windows. One of those is this one. If I'm going back to properties, you will see that I still have my requirements, co-building requirements, this famous burglar resistance, and fire exit, and as drive. So if I'm checking the model, I should have nice results and maybe some less nice. Very quickly, because I'm running out of time, for this I'm using Blender Beam, open source community, Blender Beam, I love it. And luckily it works very well, so I have just uploaded this IFC file, this IDS file, checked generate HTML report, and I click on execute, and yeah. So this is the result of the check. I've shown you that my boiler was okay according to my IDS. So this boiler shall have a Uniclass product table reference of PR606008. Yes, and we've seen that that was true. Should have pressure rating in PSET boiler common. Yes. Should have global warming according to EN 15804 in co-building requirement. Yes. And should have water inlet temperature range in PSET boiler type common. Yes. For the windows, you can see that that's not so easy because, as I told you already, I'm French, I'm lazy, so I just tweaked 2 windows in this building. That's the 2 windows that were working. But here you will see that GWP total is missing on all those IFC entities. So that's not the nicest checking result in the world. But on my side, I'm working on the data side, and that's the first report. I mean, I don't have a nice 3D viewer or whatever, but I'm able to tell you this is a result of the sheet you provided to me according to the specification I had. Please update. And that's it from my side. If you have any question, time to shoot, except Radboud. Anyone can ask questions.
So we have a couple of minutes left for a couple of questions. Yeah, Sander.
Thank you very much. Fantastic work, I would say. I'm really interested also in here you put together manually these requirements, let's say, right?
Yes.
I can imagine that in most situations you might have already some knowledge gathered that's not going to be project specific, but could kickstart at least part of this creation process.
We do, and I have some in link, but I'm not allowed to show them. But yes, we have some presets because in some countries, for example, you have lists of requirements that are ready to be used. So you can do it once in link and reuse in any project and tweak according to the project. So yes, of course, nobody should do what I've done today all the time for a project. It doesn't make sense. Reusing national or company requirements is the idea behind this, of course.
Yeah, but also as an example, maybe some P-sets to already see those connected and strike away those that you don't want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And something else I did not show you because that's still on the roadmap for co-building, which is a kind of fresh tool, but that's to have a button like give me the EPD properties for this kind of requirements. I need to be compliant with BREEAM. Click, have the properties according to it. And the other thing we will publish mid-April, something like this, is AI inside link. So it will start learning about your requirements, and then next time trying to propose you the right properties, the right property set, etc., according to what you're used to do. But just coming soon, not yet.
Fantastic, though. Thanks for this heads up. Yeah.
Any more questions?
I saw a button enrich IFC, something like that. Or could you also add in your tool to properties to the?
Thanks for this question, because I've been pushing so hard the team to have this button. So thank you for asking. Well, it could happen that you receive a BIM model without anything inside it. This button will take all your requirements, open an IFC file, and add the right presets with the right properties, the right URIs, etc. So enriching your IFC model. So that's the idea behind it. And again, thank you, because I've been pushing so hard to have it.
lezen is hetzelfde als define.
Nee, dus Sander, als ik het goed zeg, heeft lezers, moet je nog zelf verder inrichten.
Je suis pas sûr d'avoir compris.
Let's assume that next week e-class is published in the BSDD. What would be needed so that the next time you can show the same thing using e-class properties?
Nothing. It will work immediately. Let's have a call next week.
So, it's in that case, in that sense, it's the same proposition. The technological parts are there. It's now about content.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we just showed our building products, which already have all properties and all class relations. Would there be a way to import like the entire dictionary that we have with all their classes and properties? And then what things Sander said, just wipe out the ones that we don't need and then make the IDS.
So I will have a very French answer to this, yes and no. Well, we could import your data dictionary like from an Excel sheet or something with some kind of work, but we could. My struggle with this is that there is a risk to duplicate content or not to reuse things that are already available. So that's kind of a decision. If you have asked me this question, I would say 1 year ago, I would have said no. Today, I'm kind of a bit more pragmatic and we need to start working. So I would say you can, but you should be careful with it. That's why I'm saying yes and no. So technically we can do. Practically, we should be careful with these kind of things, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
Final question. Or not.
No.
Okay, thank you very much for attending, and I hope that we have shown you some new stuff that we can work from towards our next summit. This being the last session of the content sessions. Tomorrow will be a summary for anything you forgot. Thank you for being here. Goodbye.